That sounds good. Do your sweet video game music you were doing last time. A while ago.
Yeah.
Shows how good I know this.
They went away like last year. We're live now, and we're talking about my office doors and why they're gone. So it's amazing. I'm going to adjust this music down a little bit. I can't tell if it's too loud or not, but
I can check the stream.
okay. Do we have anybody on? Let's see if we have anybody on. Doesn't look like it. That's okay. All right. Well, so we've been working on Big Top Tat. We have a name now, by the way. We have a name for the game. And for some reason, the Discord camera quit. Hang on a sec. Technical crap.
Oh, you mean on the stream? There you go.
Working? Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. We have a name for the game, by the way. So it's called Big Top Tactics. We asked the Discord. We said, "Hey, what should we name this game?" We had a couple of ideas, and one of them that was suggested, I think it was by Alfie, who's Space Spy. He said Big Top Tactics, and Grant and I both really liked that. Grant and I went and saw Tool, by the way, which was really cool. Had a lot of fun. But anyway, so yeah, the name of the game is called Big Top Tactics. Why does the video keep cutting out like that? That's really weird.
Are you navigating away from it or something?
No? Okay. I just won't touch Discord. Okay, we'll do that. All right, so the name of the game is Big Top Tactics. And yeah, it's a turn-based survival tactics game where you assume the role of a ringleader, and you have to walk around and help your troop members survive. So it's actually quite a lot of fun. We've come pretty far with the build thanks to Grant's hard work, and I've been doing all the art. Grant's been doing all the programming. We still have some music to do. we got some good placeholder music, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just play the demo here and show everybody how it's going. So
there's likely going to be some bugs pop in. There's no end game yet. No like kill screen or end screen to the game. We're working on that. We should have that done this week, and then there's one or two more activities to implement, and then the rest of it is probably just going to be lots of bug fixing and polish, maybe some extra UI work,
yeah,
things like that to make it pop a little bit more.
Yeah, it should definitely be fun.
Lots
So
of balancing to do too.
yeah, that's one thing about the game right now is it's not quite all the way balanced. there's a lot of we have to do in terms of, I don't know. I think it's okay, but it just feels like it's either, when I played it anyway, it was every time you get the popcorn. So you'll have to see in the game, but you're the ringleader and you're moving around in this overworld. And if you get the popcorn, it gives your troop back all their motivation, or I guess kind of health, but we call it motivation. And so I kind of feel like it's a little one-sided. Like when you get the popcorn, like there's a lot of motivation boost for everybody, but when you win a performance, it's not that much of a motivation boost. So we're trying to figure that out. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm working on a build right now, trying to doing some balancing passes on that kind of stuff, and it feels a lot more tense the way I have it now too, because I've upped the movement of the ringleader, but I've lowered the amount that you get for popcorn for your team and everything like that. So at least when I've been playing, I've been walking a fine line between everybody dying and keeping them alive and stuff. And sometimes I fail at the mini games too, so
yeah,
I take an extra hit there.
yeah.
Anyway.
And we've got a bit we have to do on the mini games. Like some of the gauges are not quite sized right. Like what you said, I think it was yesterday, but there's one gauge where there's a needle that moves back and forth, and you have to hit it right on a square. And that square is small, so it's really hard to hit. And so we need to make the gem a little bit bigger. But
yeah, and the physics of it on the meter that's moving back and forth, it uses a sine behavior, so it kind of like, it's not a consistent movement. It kind of boosts a little bit and then slows down and then boosts again.
So like its maximum velocity is right in the middle, which is where the gem is. So you have to like, you have to lead it by like a 20 pixels to be able to click it just right. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Yeah. So
we'll probably tweak that kind of stuff for sure. We want to make sure that it's randomized enough, but also challenging, but not unfair.
Yeah.
So that it's fun to play in like quick, short sessions and replay and stuff like that. Because there's not a ton of depth to the game, and it's a small scale project, and so I've only just been busting out in 5 weeks. So
I mean, I think for 5 weeks, like it's come along really well. Like the game jams and stuff that I've done, those end up being very, very, very small experiences. No, like 5 days, right? And it's all really rough and stuff. But I think for 5 weeks working on this just in the evenings, and as we've had time, like it's not super crunch. At least it hasn't been for me. I don't know about you, but like it hasn't been insane. So it's like I feel like it's a good pace, and I feel like this is a good amount of time to produce something that's kind of a bit larger of a game jam project. Like it's probably like 3 game jams in size of a project. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's how I would rate it.
5, or we've only done it like 3.5 weeks now.
Something like that.
A week and a half left.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like non-stop work for me too, because I have a family, I have a full-time job, and those things take priority. So it's been mostly like maybe a couple hours here and there in the evenings, and then sometimes I'll have a burst day where it'll be slower or something like that, and I'll be able to get a lot more done.
Yeah.
But
yeah, same with me. Like sometimes, I'll have some time on the weekend or something that I can. Whoa, it's so loud. The game's just really loud. Hang on, I gotta hit the volume mixer real quick. There we go. Sorry, I had to turn you down quite a bit. I might just really turn that way down. Okay. I think I got you back to the right level again. Okay, sorry about that. Had to adjust some levels. So anyway, what were we talking about?
I'm trying to listen to the stream too, but I think you turned the music down enough to where, or the sound down enough to where you can't hear it at all on the stream.
Okay. How's that? Can you hear it on the stream?
We'll see. Why don't you give it a shot and go for it? We'll just adjust it.
Okay. Hang on, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
It's all good.
Okay, we're back. Okay. So let's just give it a shot. Like I said, still got music to do. But here's your grid. There's your ringleader. And so those black people, the shadowy people, those are the crowd members that are coming for your troop. And so this is the build you sent me like a couple days ago or yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
So you just click to move like that. So I'm going to go for the popcorn. And this is the sword swallower. This is the trapeze artist and the strongman. It looks like my trapeze artist is going to be performing first. Okay, I'm really bad at this, so I gotta see if I can do it. Got smacked twice. Perform! Let's see if I can do this. Oh, it's a gun! So each of these mini games, you have to hit it just right. Oh! I'm out of practice, man. Okay, I gotta get my popcorn. It's all the way up there.
Oh no.
This is gonna be sweaty.
I need to put a quick restart button in the next build too.
Oh, she's safe. Barely. Oh, took the wrong turn. I don't think the trapeze artist is gonna make it. I think she's gonna die.
She's not doing great.
She's sinking fast. Oh, okay, I might make this one. It totally depends on the placement of the popcorn. Okay, so strongman's up. Let's see if I can do good with strongman. I never got that one when I played it last time, the rapid button press minigame.
You did it just in time. 0 seconds left.
Are we still going to add a gauge, an energy gauge right here? Uh-oh, I think it's frozen.
Yeah, that's one of the bugs I noticed too. Is, once you're doing a defend round,
Sometimes it stops.
Kind of hangs there, yeah.
Does it ever resolve, or do I have to quit?
Not, I think you'll just have to reboot.
Okay.
That's one of the bugs, like the big bugs, and the other big bug I noticed is when your characters quit out on the overworld stuff, it kind of screws up the logic of the crowd on them pursuing a new one.
Oh, yeah.
So those are two big things that I'm thinking is stuck right now. So.
Okay. Let's try it again.
Try it as many times as you want. What do you think about doing a lot more like randomization within the minigames themselves, as far as like speed and like, placement of things?
I think that's a good idea. Like you're talking about, like, for example, like where that ring would be needing to rotate to, for example.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Or where on the one that goes back and forth, where the notches that you have to stop on, or with the target, changing up the speed and pattern of how it moves and things like that.
I think that's a great idea, because then it just keeps people on their toes. So, I'm going to stop the background music for a second.
And so the idea, as he's playing through this, is when their motivation bar depletes all the way, that they'll surrender and they'll essentially, they'll quit the circus act. And so the end game is planned to be leading up to a finale. And we're not sure if we're going to do it like a certain time limit, or if it's like a certain number of rounds that you have to last before the finale, or what. But something is going to lead up to the finale, and it's not going to be long play sessions. It's going to be
nope.
It's intended to be like
0 out of 4
play sessions. And then once you get to the finale, depending on how many troop members you still have left, it's going to affect the outcome of the finale, and then just kind of determine the outcome of the ending, that kind of stuff. So that's the last big piece that we have to do, is the end game portion of it.
One more time. Hey, right there. I'm gonna save it. That could be a strategy. Just kind of hang out here for a second until they get low enough.
Yeah.
Then decide to get it.
I've done that too.
Oh, it's all the way back there.
Yeah, and the new build that I have right now, you can move 5 spaces. So it kind of helps. But also, it feels for less when you get the popcorn.
And you said it's a lot more chaotic that way, right?
It's a lot more tense, yeah. You don't always just feel secure. You get a good string of placements and stuff. But then I also changed the logic for the 2 events that you get when you get to an activity. So when you're doing the defense event, if you block more shots than you get hit with, then you won't take damage. But if you get hit more times than you block, then you will take 1 hit of your motivation and damage. And then but only for that troop member. But then on the activity side, when you're performing, if you successfully perform, then it gives a +1 to all of your troop members. That's what I'm playing with right now, to try to see if that helps to balance things a bit more.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Oh, that one's hard, man. I'm so bad.
I have my hot strat where I always shoot it where it goes to switch directions there, because it kind of hangs there longer.
Oh yeah, on the top of the bottom.
Yeah.
Popcorn will save me. So right now, does it bug out after a few rounds? Like after you finish like 10 rounds on this build? Because I noticed that.
I haven't had it bug out after a certain amount of builds. I'm wondering if there's just something else at play that's causing it to bug out for you.
Maybe.
We'll see here if you can last that long. Another thing I was thinking about doing is, you know how when you're making your movement and you're placing your tiles and stuff, I was thinking to put in like a number on the tile that you're doing that denotes how many left you can move.
Oh yeah, so it's kind of like an indicator of how long you can move.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is the impossible one. Nope. Swordman didn't get it.
I think I mentioned it to you in Discord the other day when I had a bug with the frame that his animation went up to.
When you won, it's...
Yeah, so like he'd win, but he'd like be wincing in pain. But like all this fanfare would shoot behind him.
Oh.
I got a cat in my business here.
We gotta check and see if anybody's joined us. If there's anybody chatting. Last time I did that, it shut off my camera, so I don't know if I want to do that yet. But
No, I'm monitoring it right now.
Is there anybody in the chat?
In the chat.
Nobody there yet?
The time, yeah, nobody there yet.
Okay.
I imagine the time might be kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because we got kids, and this is really the only time we can do this. But we get a few views on the replay. It's just kind of fun to chat live with people. So
Yeah, I wonder if in the future maybe we could do like a pre-recorded Devcast that kind of does the showcasing portion of it.
yeah,
And then maybe in addition to that, we can do live streams whenever like it. But like we can do our Devcast like a more, I guess, produced podcast kind of thing.
yeah, kind of have something prepared.
Yeah.
So bad at this game. It's hard to defend.
Yeah, I made it. The defending part of it, I think I have it to like a quarter of a second timing that you have to do it.
That's pretty tough.
So I wanted it to feel more kind of like doing a dodge in Dark Souls or something. Like you just have to time it just right.
Some of these mini games are pretty dang tough, man.
Yeah, some of that could be unintended difficulty.
I don't know, I think it feels good. It's enough of a challenge that it keeps you interested.
Yeah, it's been the past week since we got all these other mini games and stuff implemented in it. The gameplay loops felt a lot better.
Yeah, it's a lot. This is really fun.
Oh, and also, I don't know if you figured this out because there's no instructions, but you can right-click to cancel your movement too.
I did figure that out, actually.
And sometimes it's fun to just spam right-click to shake things.
Just keep shaking the screen.
Yeah. Let's get the cat cam going here.
Cat cam. Who's that?
This is Sushi, our newest edition. She'll like to,
Hi, Sushi.
she always likes to come sit while I'm on the computer and then just like hang out in my gut and like just roll around. It's like a shelf.
Oh,
She's a good cat.
that is pretty fun. Right click earthquake simulator. Oh, I can't get that popcorn. That's not fair.
Yeah, and you had mentioned the crowd can move on top of the ringleader. That's intentional so far.
Oh, okay. I guess it would cause problems if not.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because, like, for one, I'll admit that it's just a lot more work to program repathing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also the. I was thinking about how it could be exploited to where you could trap a crowd member, like in a corner or something like that, and prevent them from going anywhere. Or like block them off, which, you know, maybe that could be a strategy too, because you're also having to get popcorn and stuff. But yeah, it's something that if we feel strongly about, maybe we can revisit.
No, I think it's fine. I think for the scope of what we got, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if this were going to be a much larger game, we'd have a lot more advanced pathfinding and stuff that we'd program, but this is totally fine.
Yeah, because right now it's literally like whenever they pick their target, they just compare all the tiles around them and say like, what is the shortest distance to get there? And then they just go that square by square.
Is that the first time you've had to do pathfinding?
Yeah, they have Construct has a built-in pathfinding behavior, but I don't know if it's right-based kind of movement stuff. So I just had to make one from scratch.
I don't know if we'll have enough time, but it would be pretty cool to program in or have some like kind of, if you get perfect defense, like have a perfect defense pop up at the end or something if you do it correctly.
I actually did think about that too. I thought like maybe we could just have like a bonus to health granted or something like that if you do a perfect defense.
Yeah.
I also was thinking about too, to help balance the actual movement on the overworld, was you move, like say you move like 3 or 4 squares normally, but once you hit a popcorn, then you get one bonus movement for that next turn or something like that.
Yeah.
Which something maybe we'll end up doing that, but right now, that's what I have changing right now. It seems to walk the line pretty well, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. That gauge is
like
impossible.
Because with having it be like shorter play sessions in mind with it, I'd want it to be more of a threat that you're gonna lose troop members and stuff, just so you don't ever really feel too comfortable. And to encourage replay to try to do better and keep more troop members alive, because you gotta have that risk that you're gonna lose them.
Yeah.
And also too, sometimes I have to balance the tomato throwing a bit, because there's a little variability in the gravity and the momentum of the bullet action that happens when they're throwing it. So sometimes it lines up to where 2 hit you at once. So I don't. It kind of becomes.
That happened just barely to me on the sword guy.
Yeah, so I need to make that more consistent. It's more consistent and predictable to be able to block effectively.
The arc motion kind of makes it hard to time, though. I think it's a good challenge. I cannot get this one.
I just need to time it to where maybe they throw them more like farther apart, even if it's like a half a second or a second.
Oh no, my strongman died.
So where you're not having a situation where you can't block 2 at once. Like it's impossible.
Oh,
anyway,
chickpeas lady.
If anybody tunes in or you watch this later on and you recall what our goals were when we first spun the wheel to
Twirled the wheel? Wheel twirl?
Game. The wheel twirl. It was that the game was a circus-themed, turn-based strategy, action, survival game. So
I think it's hard to mesh all that. I don't know. For me, it was.
I think we did it kind of because I'm thinking like the energy resource and stuff that's always ticking down here on the overworld, that kind of accomplishes the survival aspect of it. Always having to get the popcorn and shoot resources, essentially, right?
I don't know, Grant. This is not going to do good.
Because with the survival game, you're going out and you're harvesting resources and stuff to stay alive or to build up your encampment or whatever it is you're doing in that game. And so I feel like that kind of accomplishes in this kind of scope of a game to where you're trying to constantly play triage to the what do we call it, the motivation.
Yeah, they're always getting depressed, wanting to quit.
Yeah. So that's the survival aspect of it, and then the turn-based aspect of it just comes into both the movement here on the overworld and then also taking the turns between the crowd and player within the activity itself, and then the action comes into the activity, doing the micro mini games, you know.
Yeah, this is that bug where they just stay on the sword guy for a while. They don't leave him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think when there's one left, they'll probably... I just need to make it so they both swarm the same guy. Although...
You have to make it so they move off one space, then back
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, we'd have to... Yeah, we'd have to alleviate that somehow. Otherwise, it would just be the same thing chaining over and over.
Then this obviously would be game over. So.
Yeah, and something too, it might not be too late to implement something like this, but we were thinking about at one time having the crowd just disappear if you succeeded or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You defended successfully. Just having that, remove that crowd member and then a new one spawn or something like that the next turn.
Yeah, we could do that. I wonder if, like, I don't know, like, we were talking about, like, the boss and everything like that, like, for all three of them, you have to do all three scenes. We could still do that, but I'm almost just thinking maybe we should just, after you last so long, you win the game, you know? But
yeah, and we could have it be, maybe you could do just, like, different endings depending on how many people you have left.
yeah, I mean, maybe that's just what we call it, and because I mean, we got to think of the scope. It is a small project, right? And we still got a little bit of balancing to do, and maybe some bugs. I think that'll probably take us a few days. But
yeah, could you do like a final sprite where you have like the entire troop together celebrating, and then just remove one of the members, and then just, you know, that's essentially our endings. It's just one less troop member.
So like 3 versions of it. One of like, I guess I'll just
one
make
with
3
the full...
sprites, and then you just add
Yeah.
in whichever one's left.
Yeah, we could do it like that, and then one where nobody is there left, and then it's just the crowd.
Holding up tomatoes or something.
Yeah, like the ringleader's just bloodied and bashed. Not bloodied, but like you just like defeated on the ground with a bunch of tomatoes and stuff.
Maybe we just have, like, you know how when you die in Earthbound, it has like that spotlight and Ness is like sad looking. Maybe we have that, but all it is just like the ringleader's hat, like on the ground and kind of like smashed in.
Yeah, and just like
a spilled bag of
and
popcorn and bits of tomatoes
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
That's the lose screen.
Something like that. Some kind of defeat screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think this has come a long way in what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks we've been working on this?
3.5.
3.5 weeks. I mean, it feels almost like a full game. Just need to have an end screen, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It just kicks you back to the first of the game.
Yeah, and I think, what do you think about, once we wrap this up and we release it, do you want to do our next spin on the same day as we release it, or like the following Monday, or what? How did you want to do that?
Well, we could do a couple things. Are we finishing it on a Friday? The 3rd?
Yeah, the 3rd is when we planned to finish it.
We
and
could
release.
we could do that. So Richard did say he wanted to do a launch day stream maybe when we launch it. So we could do that on the 4th, and then we could spin the wheel on his stream and decide on a game there. Or we could do it on our own Devcast, whatever we wanted to do. So
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with whatever. And then once we do decide it, we should do like a 1 week break between the project before we start on it or something.
yeah,
And
I'll
then-
probably need a couple weeks. I think I'm gonna have to do a update for Attack of the Karens that I've been promising. So I need to do that. But yeah, I think a break
we
would be
could take
good
however
too.
long you need,
Yeah.
and then we could use it to the break also to kind of do some R&D for whatever genres that we find that we're going to be doing. So we could do take some time to kind of play some other games that are famous within that genre or get some ideas that way too.
For whatever we spin for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Okay.
We have a Pixel Cherry Ninja joined the chat. Hello.
Hey, Pixel Cherry Ninja. Man, this is late for you. Was it 6 a.m.? 5 a.m.?
Where's he at?
He's in the UK. Yeah. Yeah, I did an interview with Pixel Cherry Ninja right before the game launched. So
5 a.m. they say.
5 a.m. Is that you always get up that early? Man, you're
I hope you didn't do it for our sake.
Yeah, don't get up early for this, man. This is, you can watch this later on YouTube.
On a night shift.
Well, welcome along. Thanks for jumping on, though.
I used to have to do a night shift at Walmart when I was stocking inventory. I had to do, I think it was like 10 a.m. to 7, or no, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, I remember when you did that. Those were the days. Anyway, since Pixel Cherry Ninja's on, we'll show him the demo again.
All right. Do a quick run through with no bugs this time, right?
No bugs, yeah. So this is Big Top Tactics. It's our new game. We span a wheel about 3.5 weeks ago, and we got 2 random genres we had to mash together. It was turn-based tactics and and survival action. So the point here is you play this ringleader, and you have to move and collect this popcorn and keep your troop members motivated. And these angry crowd members go to your troop members, and you have to perform for them, or else your motivation goes down.
Yeah, they go around and try to heckle you.
They throw tomatoes and swear at you. So this will be the strong man we have to perform for him. So you have to time it just right. There we go. Get a little better at that.
Some of it just boils down to some RNG in your favor.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was going to lose it, but I got it.
Thanks. Pixel says, you guys have imagination. Seriously good. Thank you for your words. When we got the randomized genres and theme of it all, we were... At first I was like, I'm not sure what we're going to do with this.
Yeah.
But it was either that night after the stream or the following night or something. We just kind of started brainstorming all sorts of different stuff, and we're like, oh, this can actually be pretty fun.
Yeah.
We had a bit as it's been coming together. It's been cool to see it.
We had a couple of interesting ideas at first. Like, I had one where I thought, your circus train has crashed, and you have a bunch of troop members, and you have to fight off wolves and bears to survive.
Yeah, you were thinking of going for like a more traditional survival action kind of experience that way.
But I was also thinking like Fire Emblem, like you attacked the bears and you fought them off and stuff, and I went totally traditional with it. But I think the way it's turned out is definitely unique. Like, I've never seen a game like this before, so.
Yeah, and this has been the first one that we've done together, and so it's been cool to kind of, I think, work together in that sense, or our brains kind of work differently.
Yeah.
We've been able to I don't know, it's been easy to work with you from my perspective, because we think similarly on some things, but we're also unique enough to have our own spin on it, and then also we're not sensitive to where like we'll get offended if someone else has a different idea to try out.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, is like we're not married to our ideas, so like it's easy to say, let's cut that out, because we're like, yeah, let's just forget about it, and we don't. That's the end of it right there. A lot of it is just not like we don't like the idea, like we want to incorporate a lot of stuff, but she's gonna die.
You can't walk on that.
We want to incorporate ideas and stuff, but we just don't have the time. Like the 5-week time limit really puts a it makes decisions for us, right? Like it's like we can't do that. We can't do all these idle animations like I wanted to do. We can't do all this fancy stuff just because it's like we've only got 5 weeks, and so let's get the core. I remember when we were driving down to Salt Lake to that concert, and it was just like we were talking, and we're just like, let's just focus on the core loop and start there. And if we get past that, then we can add on the fluff. And so, like earlier on the stream, we were just talking about, should we even include the boss fight? You know, can we just, I don't know. Is it necessary? No, it's not. Like, we can finish the game without it. And so we might end up doing that if we run out of time. Because I'd rather have like a playable, bug-free game than have an end experience. Because I think it's pretty fun the way it is. So.
Yeah, and this is also just an exercise for us to see, A, if we could work together well and just kind of get used to how each other works, which I think we succeeded in that aspect. And then also B, having to do an experiment with scope, you know, because it takes discipline kind of to keep your scope creep in check, I've found.
Yeah, definitely does.
You know, I've been working on various games for the past like 10 years and never released any of them. So I think it's almost a skill set.
It's totally a skill set.
Yeah, to be able to say, this is out of scope, but we got to keep the scope here and not blow it way out of proportion.
Yeah, it's totally a skill set. You have to organize it in like what needs to happen, what should happen, and what would be nice to happen. And I think it just crashed. But anyway, that's the demo, Pixel Cherry Ninja. Hope you enjoyed it. But
yeah, they had to head back to work.
Head back to work. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you got to organize it in what's nice, what needs to happen, what's nice to happen, and then what should happen and what you can get if you have time, right? So like 3 tiers of importance: must, should, and want, and then based on that, like you cut out stuff that you don't need. I think a lot of devs, like, they think, oh, I've got to have this feature because they get it in their brain. They've seen it in other games or something, or maybe somebody somewhere mentioned something, one person, when they were playing their demo or something, like, hey, it'd be nice if you added this feature. And so they get it in their brain that, like, I have to have this as part of my game. And even if it takes a long time, and they go for it. But I mean, that's the wrong approach. I think it's just like, you're the designer, you're the dev, you decide what goes in there, and you can cut stuff out if you want to. You don't have to leave it in there. But
yeah, you got to be able to say no.
Yeah.
And that's something too. I don't know about with your experience with your work and everything like that, but with my experience with my work, working with clients as a configuration dude, there's a lot of that, having to keep things within scope. So I think that's helped.
Yeah.
Kind of bleed into the game development stuff.
Yeah, like is in my job. So I'm an engineer, and we develop products, right, for the market, and that's a constant thing you're battling the whole time when you're developing a new product. Is I mean, we have things called customer inputs where the customer says it has to do this, it has to do this, it has to do this, all these different functions it has to perform, and there are things you must satisfy that are called priority ones. Then there's things that you should satisfy, priority 2s, and things that would be nice to satisfy, which are priority 3s. And almost all the time, the priority 3s get cut out of the scope just because it increased cost, it increased testing, it increased design elements, and all this stuff just totally complicates everything. And so most of the time, those P3s just get cut out right at the beginning. And the P2s sometimes make it in, but usually the P1s is where it's the focus. It's what actually has to happen, what must happen to be able to sell this product and release it to market. And you kind of need to get in that state. Like, if you're going to be profitable, if you're going to produce games, you're not just develop forever, you need to say, where do I draw the line? Where is the go point? And until you define that, until you commit to yourself of, this is my go point, I'm not going to go past this, you could develop forever. Like, you could keep adding features forever and never release the game. Or you could be stuck in early access for 10 years and just keep adding stuff over and over and over and over again. I mean, at some point, you got to just be done with the project. Unless you're doing a total GAAS game, but it's just like, I don't know if I'd want to do that, but it's just like, to me, you got to launch, you got to move on because I've got other ideas, other things I want to do. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is your our goal with Studio Primitive is to. I mean, we both have a lot of ideas, and I don't think either one of us really want to work on a project for too long, and so we want these small scale projects to be like around 5 weeks each one of them, start
yeah,
to finish, and then for the bigger projects, we want them to be like 6 months to a year, depending on the scale of that project. But we don't really ever want to exceed a year, just because time time is precious.
time, and I think
and
like
who knows how long we can do it.
I don't know. I've shared with you about Chris Zukowski before. I'm a huge proponent of his stuff. I think he speaks a lot of truth. And lately, his blogs have been talking about operating in this mid-game area, right? Like you're not making tiny games, not jam games, and you're not making huge scopes. Like you're not making 3, 4, 5 year games. You're making 6-month to 1 year games, which is where that idea came from. And you're producing them quickly, and you're releasing those, and you're growing your audience that way. And that way you're not tied down to one project. You're not married to this dream project that you're pouring your heart and soul into for 5 years just to release it and have nobody really play it. I mean, I think that's when your motivation really dies, and you're building your skills, you're building your network, and at the same time, you're cranking out, playable, sellable games that can earn revenue and help build your studio.
Yeah, and how many Reddit posts or tweets or things like that do you read about people being like, I just released my game that I just quit my mortgage for.
Yeah.
Quit my mortgage. Yeah. I just
quit my
mortgage my home.
I quit paying my mortgage. I released my game.
Like quit my job, and I just want to work full time as this and take a chance on this. Remortgage my home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're like, but nobody's buying it. And then they just get depressed and they never want to do it again.
Well, yeah, and then they quit. And there's a statistic, I don't remember exactly what the number is, but it's like 70% of people that release one game never release a second game. And I think it's like, out, right? Yeah, they're burnt out, and they're like, I did my dream project and nobody cared, and I'm never doing this again. And then there's also another statistic out there that 50% of the people that are posting on those Reddit forums and on Twitter and stuff have never, ever made a game. So, you got to take everything you read on there with a grain of salt, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I think people go into game development thinking they're going to make this game they've always dreamed about, they've always wanted to make, and then they do it, or they try to do it and never succeed, but they do it and it doesn't pan out nearly the way they think, and then they're just done. Where, like, you got to think about how a business builds a brand. Like, a business doesn't just get successful off of one product. Like, maybe sometimes they do. Like, they have a viral product that just goes crazy, but you build a business over years and years and years of making products, right? Like, a business starts with one game, but then it grows with the next game. It grows with the next game because people don't really care that it was your dream game. I mean, people care about the game, if it's good, if it's playable. But if you release more games, that's what they want. They want to play the games. And so the more you develop, the more you release, the more people you're going to have playing your products and talking about your games, and the more attention you're going to have on it.
Yeah, and it's very, very, very rare that somebody who makes a game ends up being something like, a case of like Toby Fox with Undertale or something like that.
Yeah.
Where I believe Toby Fox had just done some modding with like some Earthbound mods, that kind of things, and kind of made like a ROM hack kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's always wanted to make a game like Earthbound, and then he made Undertale and everything. He did a lot of that himself, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
And he just did it. He did it slowly, just using Game Maker and stuff with very limited knowledge as far as how to actually code or things like that. But he made just this fantastic viral game that's just kind of blown up, and it's just been so renowned and just so beloved by communities and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And that's like an astronomical kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you have some other scenarios too, like brothers that did Cuphead. I believe they're one of those scenarios where they mortgage their homes and quit their jobs and stuff to make Cuphead, but that it's a different kind of thing with them because they had publishing and marketing, and they actually had an amazing game on their hands as well.
Yeah. And those people love to like latch on to those isolated incidences of success. They love to talk about Stardew Valley. They love to talk about Undertale. They love to talk about Celeste, as examples of, oh, I can do this. I can succeed in game dev. And all I have to do is just make one really good game. It's going to take off, and it's going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I can do this forever. When in reality, those games succeeded because of very special circumstances. Like Undertale came out at a time where there was a very underserved market that was hungry for a game. So Earthbound, it has a cult following, and people were so hungry for an Earthbound type game that Undertale came out, and it somebody heard about it, and they talked about it in these Earthbound forums, and it just went crazy. Everybody started playing it, and then it got momentum from there. And it served an underserved market, and that's kind of where it found its success. Cuphead, the art style was something that nobody had ever done before, and the 1920s, 1930s art style just took off, and people just really latched onto that. And the cartoony style was really unique, and I mean, there's just for those isolated successes, the stars just kind of aligned for them to just work out. And there kind of has to be a little bit of that when you're developing a game. And I'm talking like I've done it before. I never have, but it's like there has to be some element of just kind of luck or being in the right place at the right time, making the right game at the right time to be able to hit that chord and make your game just take off. It doesn't happen all the time, but I mean, it can happen. I'd like to hope that it would happen to something we do, but you can't count on it.
Yeah, and I think to kind of circle back to what we were talking about originally with this whole discourse or whatever, we were talking about scope, and we were talking about the length of time that we want to develop a game, and just having like tempering our expectations with developing the game to where we are going into it knowing like this is going to be a project that's probably not going to be like a huge hit or something, but we want to make something that we find fun, that we would want to play.
Yeah.
Just kind of let that passion and that fun that we're expressing, making it, come through in the game in the end.
Yeah.
We don't want to go like beyond 1 year development time per major project, because we don't want to bank too heavily on that project. Yeah,
I mean, we don't want to tie up all of our time with that. I think the more time you spend in a project, the more invested you get in it, and the more you hope that it's going to turn into something huge. And because you got to think, why am I spending all this time in this one project? There's got to be a reason for it. And so I'll share a little bit about Attack of the Karens, how it was. It took a lot longer than I ever wanted it to take. And there was
3 years, right?
2.5 years, yeah. And there was times developing that game that I just wanted to be done. The last year, I was just like, I'd get up in the morning and work on it. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I getting up at 5:30 to work on this game before work, and then squeezing it in whenever I can on the weekends? And it's just like, I felt so burned out. And the release, like, it was fun and everything, and the release was good, but it was not worth the 2.5 years that I put into it. Like, I could have just cut back the scope, made it cheaper, just made a really small shoot 'em up game and put it out there in a year, and moved on to the next project, because the skills I learned during developing that game are a lot more valuable than the money I'm getting after its release. And I mean, maybe it'll take off and make a little bit more, but its potential right now is really, really low. Like, it had a very small release, very small amount of sales, and I'm certainly proud of it, and I'm very proud of what I accomplished and the fact that I released a game and it's out there and people enjoy it. I mean, it's got 100% positive reviews, which is great, but I shouldn't have spent 2.5 years on my first project, is what I'm saying. It's too long to spend on a game.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that, but I would also say don't don't sell yourself short on that, because like you said, you did learn a lot of things in that 2.5 years, but also from an outsider's perspective, like seeing what you did make and having put a lot of time into playing it and stuff like that, it's a well-made game. It's a polished game, and I think from everyone that has played it, that I've observed or heard from, they actually they recognize that level of polish, and they appreciate the game, and they enjoy playing it. So, if I guess what I'm saying is, like, be proud of it, and it's a little too early to say, I guess, what has come from that game.
Yeah.
Because, it could amount to much more down the road and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got future plans for it, and I mean, hopefully consoles will work out in the future at some point. That would be cool to have it on a console. And yeah, you're right. You never know exactly what is going to be the destiny of a game in the end. And there's a lot of things that I did learn, like I said, from it. And so, I don't know. I'm kind of just being the developer of it. I'm just so sick of working on it. You know, I just want to move on to something else. And that's why, I'm really excited about these small projects we're doing. And I can't wait for the next wheel spin we do and see what the new genres are going to be we work on. And I'm really excited after these ones to dive into our first real project we're going to sell, because these are just going to be on itch for free. But I'm excited to get into something that's going to be a little bit longer of a dev cycle and still be manageable in scope, but be a quality premium enough product that we can go put it out there to market. So
yeah, I'm excited for that too. So these, I think we haven't really unveiled our plans yet, and I think we're going to wait until this finishes to kind of do that. But we are planning to do more small scale projects leading up to our next big project, and we'll probably do that into the first quarter or so of next year, and then we'll do our next big project. But I think either next week, because I guess our next Devcast, if we do it on a Wednesday, it's going to be on the 1st, which is going to be a couple days prior to release of the game too. So maybe we'll just do that Devcast and roll the wheel there. I don't know, or we'll figure something out. But
yeah,
at a point coming up here in the future, whenever we roll the wheel too, I think we were planning to unveil kind of like our roadmap for what these next small scale projects are going to be timeline wise, and then we're going to jump into the next big project when that's going to happen. We're going to do a roadmap kind of thing.
Yeah, we've got a plan.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, we've got a plan working. So anyway, thanks for bearing with us, everybody, while we chatted about game dev, scope, motivation, and all that fun stuff. So
yeah, we had Ozzy Worst Taste drop in here towards the end of the stream and say hi. So
hey Ozzy, how's it going?
Shout out to you, Ozzy.
Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about game development woes and scope, and yeah, the fun and the pain that comes with making a game. So anyway,
this has been fun. Look forward to it releasing at the end of next week. It's a fun little project, and I hope you enjoy it for what it is. And even if you just play it for one round or many rounds, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be coming out on our itch page, Studio Primitives itch page, which I'll link in the description of this video after it goes and gets published. So yeah, I don't really think I have anything else to cover for this live stream. Did you have anything else you wanted to go over?
No, I think it's been good. It's been about an hour.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks everybody who joined, and we will see you maybe next week, depending on when we do the next spin. So, yeah, we'll probably plan one for next Wednesday, and then we'll probably do the spin, I think, sometime after that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll let you guys know on Twitter or something. So
yeah, maybe we'll do like a final Devcast, just showcasing the final build or something.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay. Peace out, everybody.